Hey, howdy, hey. This is Stormy. Welcome to my channel. Roller coaster of storms. Definitely kind of gone through it this week. Excuse me if you hear my boys. I just got them some new bonesies to chew on and some new toys, so there might be some squeaks going on. I deeply want to apologize for missing out on Workbook Wednesday. I did not sleep very well the night before Workbook Wednesday, or on Workbook Wednesday, I guess, technically. And then on top of that, I had errands to run and wasn't feeling well. And by the time I got back, I kind of just shut down. And then Thursday, I had to go and officially buy my car. So I officially now have a new car. May or may not post pictures of my new car. Miss my GTI, so it doesn't feel the same, but it's not supposed to be the same, right? Someone writing, why is my phone going off? Positive thing for the week is that I did do my homework, and that was not as hard as I thought it was going to be, or not as draining as I thought it was going to be. Maybe because I was doing it while my car charged, so it made it a bit easier and gave me a set specific time period to accomplish this. So before we get into the homework, I want to get into our BPD and our DBT deck. So right now I have, hi Batman, and I have a Batman. Right now I have my BPD deck. I kind of need this a little bit. Had past 2 days some not pleasant information come across. So hopeful goals, unstable self-image. Definitely need work on that. Whew, unstable self-image. Yeah, buddy. That's going to happen when you've got trauma. All right, so hopeful goals. Think about where you hope to be and what you hope to be doing in 2, 5, and 10 years. It's okay to not know specifics, but identify your hopes and then make plans to attain them. Ooh, I have my wallet. Try and make those plans clear and attainable as possible. Something that I don't know if it was just me, but something I did or tried to do was try to look at my future and see what my future held. And I saw absolutely nothing but the shape of a house. I don't even know if I owned it or rented it, and my dog Jack. My boy Jack, actually. That's my boy Jack right here. And my boy Striker over here. And Mackie and Sydney. Anyways. So for the longest time, even when I got with my husband, I couldn't see a future. And if I saw the future, I wasn't necessarily being a part of that future. When I was at the youth center, I was an inpatient there for about 7 or 8 weeks, somewhere around there. They had us do a funeral for ourselves, and there wasn't anyone there except my husband and my dog. And unfortunately, it meant more at that time that my dog was there than anything else, because he was my safety. They're happy now. So it's hard to do something like this, especially so far out. 2, 5, and 10 years seems like such a waste of a time to think about when there's so much going on in the present. But I do understand the need to have goals. And me particularly, it's the short-term goals that matter more. Taking a walk, writing in your journal, doing homework, reading a chapter in a book. Oh, I need to start reading some of these books over here for our Workbook Wednesdays. I don't know, creating something. Like, those goals I can obtain more easily than setting out further goals, like this peer supporter thing I'm in. I was told about it. I thought about it. I mulled around on it. And then I said, why not? Let me just kind of see what it is. Let me see if I'm interested in it. And then I said, okay, I can do this. This seems kind of easy. I'm used to this stuff. Hey, Batman. I was like, I can accomplish this. And I didn't, it was something that could have been done. I think the online free sessions could have been done in like 36 hours, but I took 7 days. I could have done it in 36 hours, but I didn't want to. I took 7 days and I just accomplished a little bit at a time. And me, I personally write everything. So that also is why it took longer, is because I wrote everything down. So I have it for my own personal book somewhere. It's strange that I do that. I have to have these little books of explanations of everything just so I can reflect back upon it and in my own words, understand what I was trying to comprehend. That mean you gonna get comfy? You're kind of just sitting weird. You gonna get comfy? I know, I love you too, but you gotta get. Oh, be a man. Oh, be a man. You know what you remind me of? Oh, this will take some of you guys way back, but in Eureka's Castle, the little the brother and sister, and they were just these scraggly looking Muppets, and my favorite was of them swimming. But they're always causing trouble and always had these long necks that would kind of pop around. Or you could be Magellan's little pet, the little peeper that peeps up. Anyways, so and then I waited after it took me 7 days to do this peer support thing. I completed it, and then I had to wait and wait. And I just was flip-flopping. Should I do this? Am I good? Am I good enough for this? Am I good enough to help other people when I struggle to help myself? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But now I have training coming up in 2 weeks, and it'll make me feel more secure, I hope, but it'll give me an idea if it's something that I can do. There are a handful of people that I meet and I interact with that think like that would be right up my alley. And it's hard to accept a compliment. It's just hard to even accept that like, well, you're good at talking, you're good at listening, you're good at like making things make sense in a way that other people can't see, or the way that I can't even see my own way sometimes. Sometimes talking out with anyone and everyone or no one, just getting it out helps me also realize things that are traits or patterns, behaviors, or things that just like click all of a sudden, which I hate how that happens. So yeah, goals are good. They don't have to be grand. It's brushing your teeth. It's changing your underwear, as one of my therapists always says. She gave me, oh, you can't see. It's behind my cat. There's a purple card. That's from my first therapist, one of my absolute favorite therapists. And she said, if the goal of the day is just changing your underwear, then you've accomplished something. And even though it seems so trivial, it's really true for those of us that know what it's like to struggle to struggle to get out of bed, even to brush our hair, to brush our teeth, to want to even attempt to function or see daylight. Like it can be extremely difficult. So the mere fact that you got up and did something as easy as changing your underwear, which, mind you, some people don't find it easy, or brushing your hair for the day, congrats, kudos. You've strived and you've accomplished. All right, let's get into the DBT deck, which I swear everyone needs DBT. Hate Batman. So I just picked up, oh no, this is crazy. Opposite to emotion, which is O to E, for procrastination. For those that have dishes in the sink, have a floor that needs to be vacuumed, have windows that need to be wiped. So listen, guys, we're in springtime. And we have a squeaky. Oh, you're so excited with that toy. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you. So Nike has an over 30-year-old ad, which I don't know when these cards are made. Could be 40. Ad that says, just do it. I wish they had a date on these. Whenever you are faced with a lack of motivation, Simply take the first action step and do it. Make a list of tasks you have procrastinated on and complete one now. You don't have to be, making a list. This is something I get on my husband about because he wants to make lists on his phone. Making a list on paper and posting it somewhere is such a different thing than a phone that you have all of your information on, all of your technology on, all of your fun on, all of your work on, and you expect to remember the list you made? No. So it's always good to have. Yourself! You're making it squeak so much. Your handy dandy notebook. Mine's broken. There we go. Handy dandy notebook. Doesn't have to be that handy dandy, but any notebook will work that you can just scribble on. Even if it's not a list, even if it's just some thoughts or some words that kind of coast through your day and you want to bring attention to later. That is huge. So many people have so many reflections that they miss out on because they just push it to the back of their mind thinking, oh, I'll think about this later. And they don't. So having something to write down on, I think is a lost form of communication with yourself. Just like talking to ourselves has been like socially unacceptable for quite some time. I talk to myself in the store. You will hear me talking. I will have headphones on and I'll be singing, or I'll be talking to myself in the store, trying to go through. Are we happy? Can we stop? Go through each step in my brain of what do I need? Why do I need it? Is it going to be useful? Is it not going to be useful? And I work out these actions with myself by talking to myself. I also talk to my animals. Work out my shit with my animals. We have dialogue. We do. Not always understandable dialogue, but we do. So procrastination, I hate that word. We all do it. Every single one of us, with a disorder, without a disorder, with depression, without depression, having anxiety, no anxiety, we all procrastinate. Be it at a work thing, being on a chore thing, being with family, being with friends. So making these lists and being able to give yourself the grace to know that there's Don't leave, Joseph. I love you. Stop with the toy. I shouldn't have given it to you. I should have waited. Oh, it's Ziggy with the toy. All right, I might have to take their balls away. Their squeaky balls. Give yourself the grace to know that you're going to have days where you aren't going to want to do things. Don't make a list and say, I need to get all of this done in a day. I need to get all of this done. If you've got 11 things on your list and you think you can do it in 3 days, don't. Why even force yourself to be that way? Because then you put undue pressure on yourself and you set yourself up for failure that way. And who wants to be set up for failure? So I really think making a list does help, but I also say make a list and say within the month, I want to get half of these things done. I want to get a quarter of these things done. I don't care if it takes extra time to do the thing. You're doing the thing. And that's what matters. That's what counts, not the amount of time it takes you to do the thing, unless you're under a deadline. Hey! Do you want your muzzle on? Bowie? Do we bark when people are riding by on bicycles? No. We do not bark at people riding by on their bicycles. Okay? Do you hear me? You have toys to play with. You have a brother to play with. There is a life going on outside of our house. You do not bark at the life going on outside of our house, okay? Good boy? Yes, thank you. All right. Hi, dude. I don't know how you snuck in here. You're not supposed to be in here. Yeah, you're not supposed to be in. There you go. Do you see how easy it was? Instead of barking 3 times, you barked once. Mommy saw and everything's okay. Yeah. Good boy. Good boy. Unlike my dog, my doodly doo, who did this, chewed up my card. My impulsive imagery. Guess someone couldn't handle their impulse today. Well, I took an hour and a half for myself to get Cairo my hair done. So, Batman, you're on my homework. Yes, no? The homework that we got to. There we go. Thank you. 5 positive traits about yourself. So the first one, and I wrote it down with everyone last video, was I have a huge and obnoxious laugh. And I finally love it. And I don't care because, as I explained to my husband what these positive traits, how they meant to me, is that if you hear me laugh, I am truly actually considered happy in that moment. I might not actually have the feelings of whatever happiness is, because my feelings, like I say, can range from 54 colors to 6 colors for the day. And so even though it may not be like pure happiness on the inside, I know that I'm in that moment. I am having a truly good organic moment, and I want to just enjoy a laugh. Number 2, my heart cares so much for the innocents, so much for the injustices that put upon others for just trying to simply exist and live, as well as for our environment, our animals. Like, we've got to start making a stand. Right now, my saying is silence is compliance, and I am no longer accepting compliance when there's injustices. And I think, unfortunately, in the time frame and the situation that we're in, that more and more people are becoming this way and are speaking up on things that were considered just socially unacceptable to speak out upon, because we just let bygones be bygones. Well, that's how come kids get abused and hurt and killed and raped and molested. Like, it's just we let things be. That's their life, that's their stuff. We don't want to get into it. We don't. No, not anymore. We do speak up, especially when there's children involved. Oh my gosh, the amount of times I've had to intervene because a parent. Granted, I don't have children, but I was a child who was actually abused continuously by her parents. That in public, you better have a set of decorum to yourself. And if you're going to scream at your child, hit your child, push your child down, leave your child locked in a car. I mean, I have found children wandering parking lots because their parents were just more preoccupied in shopping than they were knowing where their kid was. No, I won't. I can't. It's unacceptable. And if they're willing to act this way in public, what are they doing in private behind closed doors where nobody thinks they can see them? What are they possibly doing? So, yeah. I think it's positive, but I also know. Bowie, thank you. I also know that there's a part of me that feels good to stand up for those that can't, because I feel like maybe I'm internally standing up against my mother for all the times that I couldn't. I'm writing this down for my therapist, by the way. Oh, I got a call. I call and make appointments. It's on my list of things to do today. This was first, though. Do I stand for justice now because I couldn't when it mattered with my mother? Okay. Sorry, guys. Like I said, it really helps being on this channel and speaking things out and letting things out. Things that you have an internal dialogue. Once you have it externally, that dialogue changes. It really does change. Okay. Number 3, I will try just about anything, even if I fall. guaranteed if we try anything physical, I'm going to fall. I'm going to get hurt. I'm going to laugh about it. And I'm going to attempt, if I can, if I physically can, get up and try again if it's something I really enjoy. If I hurt myself jumping out of an airplane, falling out of an airplane, if I hurt myself doing that, I don't know if I'd quite do it again. But I at least want to try. Yeah. Especially when I feel like I can do something, because I, for so long, felt like my body has not been able to do it. So the mere fact that I am able to get up and make the try, let's take advantage of the time. Let's take advantage of the situation. But just know that I will probably fall. It's literally in my blood that my parents were both kind of clumsy and hurt themselves. Number 4, I do have out of the box ideas for almost anything. And it wasn't until maybe these past couple months that I realized how differently my brain works because of the trauma I received, and how fast my brain works and how many options my brain gives me to get out of a situation. So because of that, I do think about all aspects of everything. And when you come to me and we talk about issues, I want like all of the details so I can have the biggest informed picture that I could make. And I don't mean to be like nosy about it, but I just want as much information so I can say, okay, well, there's this option, or there's this option. What do you feel is more comfortable? What do you feel resonates with you more? Or any of these, even, am I even touching it? Am I even close to it? Sometimes I'm way off the mark. But it really helps with things like creating a business, and it's something that I did with my best friend in Germany. And now I can say it was something I was really proud of, even though every time I talked to my mother, it was always, well, how's your best friend's shop? How was her shop? How was it doing? Like, not that I had any input or helped at all or designed at all or helped control the aspect or help it grow. No, it was only my best friend. But if you talk to my best friend, it was us. It was the two of us that did this, that we made it grow. We helped keep each other accountable. We helped push each other to get us out of each other's comfort zones, to make something work, to make something to be proud of, and do something that you actually enjoy for once. How many people spend their entire lives working at a job that are jobs that they will never, ever, ever find enjoyment of, all because of money? They will never find an ounce of enjoyment out of doing a job or jobs because they're too scared to try, or they think they're going to fail. Here, me, they don't have the right support system, or they're just comfortable with that toxic cycle that they don't want to break it. There are people who don't want to break their cycles, and that's okay for them. But they can't be upset at people who do want to break cycles, who do want to set boundaries, who do want to have respect for one another. My last one is, I enjoy my style / aesthetic. It has taken me quite some time and quite some changes in attire and style to figure out finally what speaks to me, which happens to be quite a lot of things that speak to me. No surprise there. But as I said before, my ink on my skin matters more to me than my real skin. I would rather have every inch of me covered up, so that way I feel more confident and comfortable in myself, because as I was growing up, I had no stable self-image. So this is my self-image. This is me. I am so proud of you guys. Good boys. You're not barking at the mailman. Good job. Good boy. Yes, you're a good boy. Yes. Good boys. I love you. I love you. What are you doing? You are not going to jump over here. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. All right. You're good boys. Go play. Go play. Go play. You've got food all over you from the bouncy. Right here. All this food's right there. Hi. So, yeah, my style, my aesthetic, my hair. I used to have my nails done a lot, which I may or may not go back to. I've been riding on the fence about it a lot because, one, it costs some money to get the looks I want. And 2, sorry, my hair is all faded, and we're going to get it done next week, so you'll see me with a fresh do. I'm really rough on my hands. which probably explains why I have hand issues and I'm old now and I have to sleep with wristbands at night for my carpal tunnel. But yeah, like, I don't know. I just remember filing, like, we used to have this conversation a lot with my old therapist, and she used to say to me, the one I had in Germany, she'd say to me, well, whose norms? What society? Who's telling you you can't do these things? She used to always say, anytime I say, well, it's not normal to do something like this, or people look at you weird, or it's not socially acceptable to do things like this. And she said, says who? Where? Tell me the person that's saying it. Tell me what they said. And it's not. It's my own issues coming back to reflect back upon me, that not only did my family judge, sorry, I look for whiskers. Not only did my family judge me as a person, or gave me a very unstable self-image, so is myself. It's a learned trait, and you have to try to unlearn it. And it's difficult. Can you imagine trying to unlearn math? Can you imagine trying to unlearn 2 + 2 = 4? That one alone. That's what it's like doing DBT and trying to unlearn our bad traits or toxic reactions that we can control with the right therapy. But, some people aren't able to, or don't know what they have to control it. So trying to change your personality. Hey, no. Move. Excuse you. Who are you howling and barking at? You do not speak that way in this house. Get out the window. Get out the window, or you get the muzzle on. Yeah, I will put a muzzle on you again. Do you want your muzzle on? See? He went bye-bye. He's not even in our yard. Sorry. It's very rare that my dog howls unless I'm gone. So I wanted to make sure nobody was up there. But he's just a year old, a year and a month. So we're working on the howling, barking at everybody and everything. And it's a poodle. And if you guys know poodles, they're very not territorial, but they're very security driven. And oh my God, this is my space. Do not touch my space. So he thinks everything outside the windows, down here and upstairs, is his. So it's very frustrating at times. And we have to muzzle to show him that he can't howl and bark at everything that walks by. Only if it's in our yard, only if it comes up our driveway. So, but listen, it took like 5 months for him to stop barking at my brother. And he rode with my brother, got picked up with me by my brother. Like, brother's always been here, but one day he didn't like him, and next day he does. So, yeah. Having animals is hard work. And if you hear me go down an octave, that's kind of like me trying to be like a dog and to get him back. So when you hear me speak in a high octave and I go, boo stuff, that's good talk. That means they're going to acknowledge me. That means they want to come to me. So I apologize if the loudness and tones of my voice go up or down too much when I speak with them. Speak with them. What? There's nothing I can do for you guys right now. Mommy's doing something. So leave mommy to work. Go play. Go play. Go on. Go play. Go play with Ziggy. Go get your brother. Go play. Go play. Go get your brother. Walk this way. Turn around. Turn around. Turn around. There you go. Go play. Go get him. Go play. You lay down if you're going to be back here, or you go. You either lay down or you go, because I don't have enough room to walk over you when I have to. All right, see how they're playing. The splitting good versus bad of my parents. I did post a picture on the community tab that I posted about splitting the person from the memories. So that way I can still appreciate the good that did happen within the bad, which can be very hard to do. And I thought it was going to be harder than it was with my mother, So I'm glad I was able to find so much on both. I guess not glad that I found so much, but that I was able to do it. I've always been like, so first when people would make comments about my mother, I was very defensive because out of the two parents, my mother was the one that gave me the most support, I guess, in having food, a house over my head, more stability, I guess. So I'll have a couple more for my mom than I do my father. I don't know if I'm going to go good to bad or just read the good and then read the bad. Maybe I'll just read the good, then read the bad. Yeah, let me do it that way. So my father, I put, he had a great smile. He was adventurous. He taught me to drive. He helped me appreciate horror. We shared a love of cartoons and Archie comics and video games. He did like to laugh. He did like nature. He was kind when he wanted to be. We always enjoyed mini golf together. We had a love of fast cars and loud music. He could dance. He taught me how to play pool and taught me darts. Taught me how to change my oil and tires. I remember I have a really core memory of my dad. This was I think it was before or right when him and my stepmom got married. It might have been before. And he was trying to do my hair so we could go out, together. I don't think maybe it was for Easter. I remember wearing a dress and he was trying to do my hair and it kind of ended up like something like this on the side of my head. And I know he was doing his best. That he at least tried to take care of my hair. And as soon as I came out around my step family, they made fun of him for it, which really hurt me because my dad was at least trying. And like, how dare you? How dare you? My dad was doing what he could. He doesn't know how to raise a kid, and let alone a kid that was also being raised by a narcissist. Like, God, that hurt me to the core. I remember hugging him, like, trying to protect him because I know what they were saying was probably hurting him. That, like, you don't spend enough time with your kid to do their hair. And I just wanted to tell him, like, I love my hair. I'm glad you did it. So that's a really core memory that, like, has stuck with me for a very, very long time. He could be my protector. Yeah, if you notice, I'm actually picking and trying to pick, and because this is hard. Prickly pear, right? Prickly pear. He always wanted to play. He had an affinity towards Patrick Swayze. He could be family oriented, and he always seemed strong physically. He was our big dad. For the bad, he was an addict. He scared me. He left me with strangers. He left me alone. He has put his hands on me twice. He could flip to anger. He drove with us while blasted, so either on drugs and alcohol or just alcohol. He broke promises. He stole from me. He made it feel like I constantly didn't matter. I was always in bars, not just double play. His family scared me when he left me with them, because he would leave me with family sometimes, his family, to go get drugs or more alcohol. He liked to fight. His racism, his misogyny, his selfishness, and I didn't feel safe. Oh, man. But writing this list for him, it made me realize and feel so bad for the demons and his struggle that he lost. Yeah, sorry, that's when you do. We go to my mom. I wrote for the good, her empathy for animals, her gardening passion and passion to make things beautiful, her artistic mind, her hard work and tenacity. The prettiest thing you could ever wear is your smile. Her love of singing, even if she was embarrassed by it. Her strength of not needing a partner. Say what you mean and mean what you say. We always had good birthdays and Christmases. She always tried to make our events. She tried in her way to support some of our passions. She worked for those Jacksonville, Florida people. Sorry, just showered and all my dead hair is finally coming out from being up all day. So yeah, Kuhn Flowers. She used to work there making flower baskets and things, and she used to bring home really pretty baskets for us and ones that made music. And because of my strong memories of Kuhn Flowers and being in there and seeing all the beautiful things, and especially during Christmas, that's where we picked out our Christmas ornaments, and we talked to Rudolph, the talking reindeer. I think it was Rudolph, right? Yeah, I think he had a red nose. That would hang out the window at Kuhn's. Like, I miss those memories so much that, like, at Goodwill, I started collecting little things that reminded me of King Flowers that she would bring home for us. I have a music box. It doesn't look like anything from King Flowers, but it plays the same melody that one of the ones she gave us. Frosty the Snowman was our favorite Christmas song to sing together. We all, me, her, and my sibling, always sing it during Christmas time. Handmade Halloween costumes. She did go out for Halloween costumes. Many beach days while looking for shark teeth. She always encouraged my reading. She did encourage my imagination. She taught me how to shop. She taught me my passion for animals. Her loudness when she was happy. When she truly laughed. Taking us to Disney. Taking us to museums. Giving me Jack. And my mom would always say that, like, you don't ever say anything nice about me. You don't ever appreciate what I do for you. You never write anything to me. When, like, every time she would yell or hit us or get into this, like, it wasn't even be an argument because she'd just be screaming at us. We always had to write a letter to know why what we did was wrong. And to explain how we'll be better and to show our appreciation in those. Like, I've written the poem that she got mad about. I've given her so many cards telling her how much I appreciate her and I love her. And she just couldn't be bothered to know or keep any of that stuff. To know that, like, we do have good. She's just scared. It's not important enough to her. I am a being that is not important enough to her. The bad. Say what you mean what you say. Even though it was a good thing to also have, it was also very bad. Her yelling, her physical abuse, her weed and drinking addiction, self-medication. Always having to know what the lesson was. Her not having patience, having to tiptoe figuratively and quite literally tiptoe around the house. She name called. She forced my path many a times. I didn't feel safe. The bruises and swelling she gave me. Hating myself after every lesson we had to learn because I wasn't smart enough to know it so I wouldn't get in trouble. So I beat myself up. Forced to say I love you after every fight. So this is something that is a little bit of a contention point at times in my relationship with my husband, is that I have a hard time saying I love you if I don't actually mean it down here, because I was forced to say I love you as a band-aid. It was just like a goodbye. It was like a greeting. I love you didn't have real words at my house. It didn't carry any weight, because if you loved me, you wouldn't hurt me. Her very judgmental views on everything. Her drunken antics and yelling with her partner and or her friends that they would bring over drunk. Being left alone at other people's houses. Pitting me and my sibling against each other behind our backs. A lack of truly listening and understanding of us children. We would not be able to go to her for a normal issue that a normal kid has that say, hey, Mom, I'm confused. I don't understand, or I need help. Can you help me figure this out? No, we could not do that. We were always wrong. Whatever, like how we viewed the situation, we were always wrong. The feeling of always going to be in trouble. And that probably goes with the tiptoe thing. Like, I always felt around the corner I was going to get in trouble. She disowned me. She disowned me when I was 21, 22. She's fought me when drunk twice. Like, she's always hit me, but she wanted to kill me. She tried choking me. I was maybe 25. Her racism, she would never seem to let her guard down to be happy. Never allowing me to show my emotions because it upset her or confused her or angered her. She left us at the grocery store because we were playing around too much and we had to watch her drive off, possibly not come back. That was terrifying. Forgetting me and my sibling at school or daycare numerous times. All the way up to high school, I was forgotten about. Being angry over simple kid mistakes. Like, kids do things and man, like, I don't know how many of you know or understand what it feels like to not have a childhood, to not be a kid, to not have the freedom to explore and express and entertain things. I'm not saying we didn't completely not have a childhood, but it was definitely like 60-40. And that's like 60% not having a childhood. I didn't think I would be this hurt because I typed these out on my live or on my community tab. And it was okay. And I wrote them out and I read them to my husband and it was okay. But being alone and reading these things out loud, like, sucks. And what sucks even more is that it's obvious that both of my parents have trauma and demons, whatever you want to call it, unresolved issues. And they just passed it down onto us, but then expect us to be better than them. Like, it really makes no sense when they won't even help themselves, but we're forced to do it all by ourselves and then get criticized for doing things that are healthy for us. So, like, I don't know. It's a hard one, and it's a hard day. Let me be honest here. Sorry. Maybe I'm not sorry. I don't know. Really? Oh, it's right in front of me. Whew. I thought I didn't bring a lighter. Like, really? I did all this and not bring a lighter. So a little bit of information about me. I learned at a very young age that it was going to be quite difficult for me to have children. About 24, 25. Because 24 was the first test, 25 was the second test. Because I was going to donate my eggs. Ugh, and I'm so heartbroken that I could not do this, especially for the man that actually wanted and picked me to help him have a child and to help him feel complete and happy. So it really hurt my heart that I was not able to help them. I felt useless. I felt like a piece of shit that my body does not produce enough eggs to donate to somebody in need or in want. Because I wasn't having kids at 25. The fuck do I need my eggs for? Somebody else could use them. Somebody more deserving. I have a secrets book, and maybe it's something I'll pull out at one point that I did when I was 22, 23, about all the things deep down that I never admitted to myself. I admitted in this, like, it wasn't even a notebook. It was a construction paper book, and I just went through it and colored and wrote and designed. That I did want a kid. I wanted a boy. Because I was scared of damaging a girl. I was also terrified of having kids. So when we found out that I couldn't, like, it was kind of a relief that, like, that pressure isn't there, that I might possibly one day end up pregnant and not sure if it's something I was ready for. Because I can be abusive. I have been abusive over my life, and I do not, never, ever, ever want to put that on another person. And so, like, I am not in a place to have a child. And some people, oh, but they change you, they make you into a good person, they make you a better parent, they make you this, but, like, what if it doesn't? Because I have a personality disorder. What if it doesn't? What if I get worse? What if I get postpartum? What if I end up hating my child? What if I end up jealous of my child? It's not fair. So my husband and I made the decision to not have children. And because of that, we've been told that we don't have a real family. Just recently, it was made clear to me that they're glad. Someone is glad I didn't have kids. And it's fucking vile. It's so mean. All because of my views. All because I want to protect trans kids. I was told I wasn't told. It was told to my husband. Someone was glad we didn't have kids. And that hurts so bad to know I'm thought of as less than because I chose for the well-being of whatever future child I may have that I don't do it. That if I'm in a stable and healthy enough position, I will adopt. I will foster students to come to school here and like, but because of my views and my beliefs as who I am as a person, I don't deserve to have kids. What the fuck? Who can say that about someone? You know, what did I do? What have you seen me do that makes it where I don't deserve to have children? That you're glad I didn't have children. You're glad that there isn't a child that is the love and the strength and the passion of my husband and I that you could possibly get to know as a all because I want to protect trans kids, trans people. It blows my mind truly what those in your inner sanctum really, really think of you. Like, if you really think these types of things, why make the effort? I don't understand. Why make the effort? Why go through all the bullshit? If this is I just to say I don't have a real family and you're glad I don't have kids. This wasn't both at the same time. These are two separate incidences over years. Well, maybe not even years. No, it's not years. It's about 8 months. 6 months. Right? What are we at? Almost May. 6 to 8 months. Sorry, I have to inhale differently because of asthma. So if you hear me, it's me trying not to cough a lung up. The amount of things that have been said to me or said about me that I have found out over the years is truly astounding. All because someone can't take the time to understand. And here I am trying so hard to understand so many other people and where they come from, and that their reactions are only their reactions because of their trauma, or because of whatever happened to them that's unresolved. And I try to be bigger and I try to be better, and I try not to be this person who will spiral, who will be angry. God, the amount of things I could have said out of just pure anger and hurt to this person for no reason, just because I want to hurt them too, just because I know where their weaknesses are. That's not okay. Mind you, I don't know if this person thought this was a weakness or if they were just truly, they're so disgusted with my point of view of protecting a human right that they can make that comment. Like, and granted, it wasn't aimed at me. It was with my husband. But my husband and I share the same views. We share our life. We share everything about our lives. The good, the bad, the horrendous. I tell. Every time I make a mistake, I'm like, oh my God, don't tell my husband. But then I go home and I tell my husband. Like, it's the appropriate thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Open and honest communication. Even when it's not good communication, at least it's open communication so everyone knows. So that's what we have. We have a very open communication relationship, and we lean on each other and we support each other. And to hear that someone in our inner sanctum, like, over human rights, over the rights for someone to exist the way they want to exist, that hurts nobody. It's literally hurting nobody. I knew this was going to be a little bit of a harder one. And I'm sorry. No, sir. Bowie Bosef. No, sir. Get out of my window. No. No, sir. Get out of my window. Excuse you. Get out of my window now. No. No. Lay down. He likes to pretend he can't hear me and wants to just focus on what's outside, and that's breaking his focus is really hard to do. Yeah. Like, in the end, I decided to set a boundary, and I decided to let the person know I set the boundary and let them know how hurtful their comment was, even though it wasn't directed at me. The mere fact that you think that about us, your family, people you say I love you to, I am not accepting that in my life anymore. I am only accepting people in my life that are working towards being better. I don't care if it takes a day, 5 months, 5 years, as long as you don't give up, I will allow you, and we will work. Sorry, someone stopped in front of my house. And we will work together to get through things and try to help each other, because that's what people are supposed to do. That's what a community is supposed to do. You know, if we were cavemen, what did we do? We relied on each other to survive. Why did it change? Just because there's more people? It does take a community, not just to raise a child, but to be better in general, to be better as a human on this planet that we might not have for very much longer, the way we're destroying it. But why make things harder? Why purposely hurt others when life is really hard already? And that's no bullshit. And if you find life not to be hard and not to be challenging, you may need to go find something hard and challenging, so you see the type of person you're going to be under certain types of pressure. I don't know if this is where I want to end that. Like, obviously I'm shaking right now. I'm trying to see what's in here right now. It's like the cavern that I always talk about, the cavern, the hole that's deep inside. It's not very deep right now. There is a hole, but there's concrete slowly covering it, which means I start to feel nothing, which isn't a bad thing, especially for people with BPD. It's not quite contentment, the feeling, but it's a feeling that we don't have to focus on, that we know we're just here, we're existing, and nothing is going to interact with this right now, which also probably means we disassociate more, or we zone out more, or we get hyper focused on something else to try to distract us from the non-feeling feeling. Which is a feeling that I tend to have more often than not. And I have learned to be okay with that. That because of my BPD, it unfortunately sometimes takes extremes to make me feel different feelings, which sucks. Because not everything should be an extreme. for me, what I will be doing after this for my self-care is probably watching some people on YouTube who make videos about other people in the world or on YouTube that just, are truly bad people. Sometimes I watch murder stuff. Sometimes I watch Real Housewife stuff because it's just a far enough life from mine that there's no way we'd have anything alike, that I can just focus on their BS. Which uncannily sometimes their situations or their words might actually have an impact on me in my life at a certain moment. So that's crazy to see sometimes. I'll probably zone out on my game. I've got some Monopoly Go to catch up on and some Pokemon. Supposed to go out tonight, which it's got tonight and tomorrow. I have to talk to my brother about that. So if you do get to watch this before I talk to you, sorry. I do want to go out and do both things, but I'm not sure I can spend 5 hours today and 5 hours tomorrow. I've spent every day this week out of the house, and that's very hard for me and very draining, because even though I've taken off a mask, socially, we still have to wear a certain type of mask so that we conduct ourselves properly in certain environments. And that alone is draining because I've always, my whole life, sorry, a little bit of dry skin. Let's talk to my girl about that. I lived my whole life watching myself being something that I'm not truly deep down, which is natural for me. I was not allowed to be natural. My natural feelings, my natural thoughts, my natural actions were not okay. So it's hard sometimes being out for hours a day, and wearing that socially acceptable mask at times. At times, I will say that. I don't always do it. Because if I'm just running dumb errands and I just come across you, like, I'm going to be myself. But if it's appointments, which I have a lot of, things like buying a car, which I want to be more aware of your surroundings and not get filmed being a Karen for calling someone out for parking in a disabled spot. Still on the fence about how I feel about that, if I was in the right or if I could have handled it a different way or something, or if I should have just shut my mouth. But then again, I feel like, no, you shouldn't have. Silence is compliance. People who take up handicapped spots who are not handicapped need to be called out for their shit. I don't know. It's something I want to work through with my PTSD therapist. She raised a pretty interesting question about it that's been on my mind ever since. But with that being said, my therapist, I need to actually go make some phone calls because I do need to make some appointments. So that's how I'm going to end it. Where'd my cards go? There they are. So let's remember again for the BPD hopeful goals. Think about where you hope to be and what you hope to be doing in 2, 5, and 10 years. It's okay not to know specifics, but identify your hopes and then plans to attain them. Try and make those plans as clear and as obtainable as possible. So like I said before, for me, that's just way too long. That's way too long to try to function and plan out. So for me, it's short-term goals, always short-term goals that may eventually lead to a long-term goal, but I will focus on the short-term goals only. And then with this card, which is funny that I pulled out, opposite to emotion, O2E, for procrastination. Remember, Nike has an ad that's over 30 years old with the slogan, just do it. Yeah. But whenever you are faced with a lack of motivation, simply take the first action step and do it. Make a list of tasks that you have procrastinated on and complete one now. You don't have to do it now. to complete one, but making a list is the first step. And that's a congratulatory step that you can do, is make a list of things that you are not keeping up with, that you need to be held accountable for and hold your own for. And then give yourself a time frame, a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, to accomplish 3 items, 6 items, all of them. But give yourself the grace to know that you're going to have bad days, that you're going to want to procrastinate, that you're going to not have the energy, and factor those days in so that way you're not feeling the pressure to set yourself up for failure. And I think that's like the hardest thing I've had to learn, especially through therapists, is that not explaining that enough, is that you will set yourself up for failure if you don't know yourself. And so make sure with yourself, with your therapist, with a best friend, with your partner, with your child who may be old enough to kind of understand these things. And I'm not talking about like 10-year-olds. I'm not even talking about teenagers, maybe a child, your child, and that's an adult. And see if it's something that resonates with them that you're doing, that, yeah, this is a good idea, but you need to factor in A, B, C, and D, because these are the people that will know you the best and know your falls and your follies where we may not be so open to admit that's what we have. It's something I'm definitely learning as well, that in my life and everywhere else in my jobs, I have put my everything, my all into it. And I don't have to do that because it takes away from myself and my healing. And so the fact that like once I do this peer specialist thing, normally I would have just jumped in full time, going all the way in, and then I would have started breaking down and losing myself and then hating the job. And I don't want to do that. So I'm going to learn about myself and accept the fact that right now I could probably only do part-time, and that maybe being a peer specialist in a jail or a institution might not be the best for me because I don't like being locked up into things, and I don't may not have the empathetic heart to carry too much for those patients and then bring it home and let it destroy my home life. So I want to be respectful to everything as I help people, because if I start failing myself, I will no longer be able to help people. So let me end it on that. Let me make my phone calls. I will, in a day or two, set up on my group and in the community tab when the next Workbook Wednesday will be. It will be Wednesday, duh. But what time it will be at. Again, I appreciate anyone and everyone who takes this journey with me, who wants to share their journey with me. I'm starting to get pretty a little active in my group, and I really appreciate that. It helps me feel not so alone in all of this, and I hope that it also helps you guys not feel so alone as well. I know I post a lot of memes, but it's only when I truly feel like they're really to the point and really specific on what we need to do as human beings to help heal so we can create a better environment around us. I hope you have a good weekend. I'm going to say it. I hope you have a good weekend. I always say I hope it's uneventful because it feels like a lot of pressure to have a good weekend. And then if something doesn't go right, all of a sudden it's a bad weekend, when that is not the case at all. But I want to have a good weekend. So I want everyone else to have a good weekend. Usually I just say I want an eventful. I just want peace and calm and chill. But I want to try to feel something this weekend. And hopefully with what we have going on downtown, all this art stuff, that I do and I will. So yeah, thank you again. I do appreciate anyone who listens and just lets me ramble it out. I do appreciate that. Thank you for those that share anything, be it the group, be it the meme, be it my homework, a video. It doesn't matter. If you feel like someone else can use this in their life, or maybe just hearing me ramble will help make some sense somewhere along the lines in your lives as well, as I try to make sense of it. I really do appreciate that, giving me that opportunity. So thank you again. And I will see you definitely 90%, just in case I'm physically ill, but definitely another Workbook Wednesday. So thank you all.